Hey guys, so thanks to my friends at Inkfusion and the really cool people at Wacom Peripheral Solutions, I've got my hands on the Wacom Intuos Pro Paper Edition. I've gone and used it for a while, and yeah, I have to say I'm really enjoying it. Just a little bit of my background with Wacom tablets. I've actually used Wacom tablets, I think ever since I decided I wanted to become an artist. And yeah, I remember the very first tablet I had was a Wacom Bamboo. I begged my dad to get it for me, and he went out and he got one. And then when I got into art school, I got one of these. It's a Wacom Intuos 5 medium. This is super awesome. It was a huge upgrade for me, and I really love using this. I mean, I still use it all the time. So you can see it's pretty like beat up. After that, I went ahead and got a Wacom Intuos. This is like a newer one. I think it's similar to like an entry-level Wacom tablet. I got it because I just needed something that was easy to pack into my bag and just go. So now, when I got this, the Intuos Pro Paper Edition, it definitely is an upgrade from what I'm currently using. I wasn't quite sure what to expect with the paper part of it. That's something we'll get into in a little bit. But I think first of all, right out of the box, one of the things that I noticed immediately about this tablet was the fact that it had these really nice buttons, shortcut keys. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really use them. I didn't really use them on my Intuos 5, and I'm just going to show you the difference. So you can kind of see on my Intuos 5, the buttons are not really like, you know, you can still click on them, but it's not like super tactile or anything. One of the things that annoyed me the most about this Intuos 5 when I started using it was the scroll wheel. And this thing right here, was so annoying. Like, when I would draw, it would keep like, my arm would keep brushing across this. The display would pop up, like the menu that was telling you what keys were like mapped to what shortcut. It was so annoying that I think when we figured out how we could do it, we just disabled all the buttons, and I never ever used it ever again. But when I saw this, I kind of wanted to try it. So I did. I actually plugged it in and, you know, installed beautifully. And this scroll wheel was just, it wasn't like overly sensitive, like if you just touched it, it would have like, you know, turned on anything. But it was nice. Like, it actually feels nice. It feels like, you know, really smooth, really easy to use. And I actually tried it out and used it, and I kind of liked it. So this button thing is definitely a win. Another thing that I think is super nice about this new Wacom Intuos Pro is the fact that you can turn on and off the touch function beside the power switch. I don't really use the touch function, and it's just really nice to have it right here if I do want it, instead of having, again, to go into the menu. It's nice to actually have everything built in here. I think one of the last things about this is that, this is gonna sound kind of old school, but Bluetooth functionality is a lifesaver. When I was using my Intuos 5, I would often lose the cable or forget to bring it, and that's it. I just couldn't use my tablet. Eventually, when I got my newer Intuos, I came to really depend on the Bluetooth functionality, the fact that it was wireless. Every time I wanted to use it, I didn't have to look for a cable, I didn't have to plug it in, I could just turn it on and boom! That's it! It was connected, beautiful, I could just use it without much fuss. So the fact that this has that built in is a huge thing for me, something I absolutely love. So another thing that I just kind of want to mention as a sideline, which is not really a big thing to maybe a lot of people, but it's a huge thing to me, is the pen stand. I don't know what it's called, but I'm calling it a pen stand. It's the stand on which you put your pen on. One of the reasons why I like this new one so much is because it's super wide and it's heavy. It's like a paperweight almost, right? This is the one I got with my Intuos 5 7 years ago. To me, this is a huge thing. If you're new to Wacom, it might not mean much, but I personally think this is a super nice touch. So this is the old stand. It has like a really small base. I have cats and I'm super clumsy. This thing falls over all the time. I've actually lost this a few times, found it a few times. This is also super nice. It's actually really low profile. It's very wide. It doesn't topple, obviously. And what's really nice is that in order to like change your nib, there's a little hole right here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it is right here. And you put your nib into it and you tilt it to one side and the nib comes right off. Super easy to change. It doesn't require any like additional rings. And then you just kind of twist the bottom and look. All those replacement nibs in there. Let's just slide this back. There we go. Alright, so now that we've got down most of the features that I thought were pretty cool with the new Intuos Pro in itself, we're going to talk a little bit more about this paper edition. Now, as you can see, there is an additional clip here right on top of the Intuos Pro. This is not actually fixed on. It's a clip that comes separately that you kind of like slide on, and it's just simply there to hold paper in place. And you can see it's very nicely built. It's super flush to the tablet edge, and even the back is pretty flush. So it's not like this huge piece of whatever. And it feels very solid. And all you gotta do is you gotta like strap on paper. Wacom has very kindly provided some paper actually as part of the package, but you don't have to use that. I put on my Midori sketchbook and I kind of wrote some stuff just to kind of test this out. The key thing for this thing to work is firstly this pen. This is the thing that connects your drawing to the tablet and then onto the software. And the last thing you need to load up is Wacom Inkspace. It's the Wacom Inkspace app. I think when I first got this, I was trying to figure out like why I would need something like this, or if I needed something like this, or if I had it, what I would do with it. But surprisingly, when I started using this, it was actually, first of all, really easy to use. And secondly, there's a whole bunch of features that I never thought I'd find useful, but I actually kind of do. So first of all, one of the really cool features is this thing called live mode, and it does what you would do on a tablet. As you draw, whatever's on the screen kind of mirrors your drawing. So as you're drawing on paper, it comes up on the screen just as it would when you're using the tablet normally. Secondly, what I think is really cool about this is the fact that you don't actually need the app on for this to work. All you need to do is you need to make sure that your tablet is connected like mine is right now, and you just snap on your notebook and you start writing. At the end of the day, you go into Inkspace and it synchronizes everything for you. Super beautiful. Never thought I would need this, but after using it, I kind of realized it's a pretty awesome feature. Like, it's really cool, and it's something that I can see myself using. When you go into Inkspace, for any one of the notes that you put down or the sketches, you can export, right? You can export into Photoshop if you've done maybe thumbnail sketches. You can export into JPEG and PNG. You can export it as a video. I mean, it's not a super high resolution video, but it's a pretty cool time lapse of the process or whatever it is that you want a video for. The last thing, this is my absolute favorite, something I wasn't expecting at all, was that you can actually export your notes, right, into a text file or a document file. This is personally my favorite because I write tons, and I was just doing a test with it, and I wrote like some random text, and it like transcribed everything perfectly, even with my really bad handwriting. I personally think it's a pretty awesome feature. Even before I get down to a project, whether it's a film project or a graphic design project or an illustration project, I need like my paper, and I need to write down like what's gonna happen, or like a checklist, or like thumbnails, things like that. You know, that's part of my workflow. And honestly, I feel like this really supplements that workflow. So if you ask me, is this something that you should buy? Is this something that you should consider looking at? Well, it really depends on your workflow. If you are someone like me, if you need to take down notes, if you're the kind of person that needs a more organic workflow, something where you can feel like paper, you need to write on paper. Paper is something that, you know, it's really hard to work without. If you're the kind of person that pulls out scraps of paper or notebooks to write on, I would say this might be something that you would want to consider. Don't expect this to be a replacement for, you know, whatever you need to get done on a tablet, because the tablet already does that. This is just a really, really good supplement, and it helps with the workflow if you are someone who requires that. So once again, yeah, huge thank you to the guys who gave me the tablet. Really, really appreciate you. And this is definitely something I can honestly say I would probably be using for quite a bit. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know if this is something you can see yourself using. Or if not, let me know why too. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!